guys, welcome back to Sherman's Kitchen. I want to say good night one, good night all. Hope you guys had a good day and have plans for this long weekend. So I want to say happy Easter to each and every one of you. If you're visiting my channel for the first time, I want to welcome you to my channel. Tonight I'm going to be sharing a recipe for stew, snapper and cassava dumpling. So if you guys want to see how I do this recipe, come on down and let's get cooking. So for tonight's fish stew, I'm using gray snapper and I have some very nice gray snapper here. I'm going to be adding some seasoning into this and I'm adding in my salt. I will leave all the ingredients in the description below and the measurement. Just about a teaspoon and a half of salt. We're gonna add some black pepper. And we're gonna add some Adobo all-purpose seasoning. And this have some garlic powder, onion powder and all that good stuff. And then the next thing I wanna add is some green seasoning. I'm just gonna go in with about 2 tablespoons of green seasoning and we want to just mix this in nicely. And then I'm gonna let it marinate for about 15 minutes. You can do it for longer, but I don't have too much time tonight. So I'm gonna let it marinate for about 15 minutes and then I will come back and fry these pieces of fish and then I'll show you the next step. So I'm frying the fish now and I lightly dust them with some flour. I add a little bit of turmeric into my flour and some black pepper and salt so the fish can have a beautiful color when it's done. As soon as one side is nice and golden brown, I'll flip it to the other side and I'll show you how it looks when I'm done. So let me just flip these fish and show you guys. Look how beautiful they look. And I'm gonna repeat the process. And guys, this here tonight I feel like eating a piece of this fish with pepper sauce. Nice and hot. I believe I'm gonna do a piece like that because this fish is just looking beautiful. So the fish is fried and now I have my seasoning here for the fish, for the stew fish. I have some fresh coriander and I have here some green onions, a lot of thyme, some marinated pepper and onions, and here is the beautiful gray snapper already fried. I'm gonna cut up my seasoning and I will come right back and show you the next step. Those fried fish, they're calling my name with pepper sauce. So for the fish stew or stew fish, I am making some cassava dumpling. And I have fresh cassava here. This can be done with the cassava flour as well. I'm just gonna show what I'm doing. So I'm gonna peel the cassava and you can grate this or you can blend it up in your food processor or any kind of machine that you have. And once I finish peeling, I'll show the next step what I'm doing. So this is the cassava after I finish peeling it, and cassava also goes by the name yuca. After I finish grating it, I will come back and show you the next step. So again, I'm using my omega juicer to grind my coconut and to a very nice fine texture, and it's coming out with the moisture and everything. And this is where we're putting the cassava. Did I say coconut earlier? This is where we're putting the cassava, just as we did with the coconut. And it is coming out like a real nice texture, and it takes no time at all. So I'm just doing this video for my friend who bought this omega juicer and who would like to know all the different things you can do with this machine. So here it is again, grinding cassava for me as fast as you can. You can grind your cassava when you're making cone right through this machine as well. So in no time, like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, my cassava is done grinding. Very beautiful texture and still have the moisture in. Now I'm going to show you how I'm making my cassava dumpling. So to knead the flour for the dumpling, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I will add a pinch of salt. And I'm going to add a pinch of black pepper. We don't want to have plain tasting dumpling. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of cilantro just to give a nice look when we finish making it. And I just want to show the texture of the cassava. So nice and soft and full with moisture. So we're going to mix everything in now. And there's a string from the cassava. We don't want that in our dumpling. And you want to mix this first because sometimes the moisture is good for the to knead the dough, but it looks like I'm gonna need a little bit of water in here, so I'm gonna add some water. We're making this to a nice firm dough, just like when we're making roti or when we're making regular dumpling. So this here is my dough, my cassava dough for the dumpling, and it's nice and soft. It have a nice texture because remember the cassava was like grated, so it feels so nice, and I can see my seasoning is showing through. That's what I like. So I'm gonna wait until my water is hot, and then I'm gonna cut little circles and put it into the water to boil, and then we will show you the next step. So we're gonna start cooking our stew now. I'm gonna go in with my onions. And we're gonna cook this onion until they're translucent. And then I'm gonna start adding more ingredients. So my onion is cooked up a bit. And the next thing I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna add some tomato paste. And I put about 2 heaping teaspoons of tomato paste. I'm just gonna mix this in. We want this paste to cook a little. So let me just and I'm going to be adding now my spices. So I'm going to go in with some salt first of all. Just about a teaspoon and a half of salt. I'm gonna add some black pepper, and I'm going in with some freshly ground black pepper. Give this a stir. I'm gonna add some allspice or 5 spice if you have it. And some Adobo all-purpose seasoning. And now I'm gonna add some water. And we're gonna turn this up. I'm gonna add my thyme in here. And it's looking nice already. So let us add our peppers, Marinate peppers, and all my thyme is going in now. So I'm gonna add a pack of Sazon, and this is really nice for stew, roasted garlic, annatto, and coriander, and the color is very nice. I'm gonna add my green onions, and we're gonna let this cook for a bit before we add any other thing to this pot. So I'm just gonna cover it down and then we'll come back in a few minutes. I really like how the color is looking. So while my stew is cooking, I'm gonna work on the dumpling. So we wanna make very small little tiny ball. And what I'm doing, I'm gonna just flat it like this. And we're gonna put them into the water to cook. So I wanna make sure that I have all of the dumpling flattened before I start adding them to the water. So I'm gonna continue with this process. I really like the texture that I'm getting here. It feels like if there is grated coconut in here, but it's not. I like how the green from the cilantro is showing through. So my water is boiling up for the dumpling. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt in the water. And then I'm gonna start adding the dumpling, and this is what they look like. So I'm gonna add them now to the water, and then once they're cooked, they're gonna float up to the surface, and we will have our beautiful, nice cassava dumpling. For all my, no, take it out. So soon we're gonna have our beautiful dumplings for all my dumpling friends out there. This is the cassava dumpling I'm making today, and they are super delicious with fish stew, any kind of stew fish or any stew dishes. They goes very nice. So as you can see, they're coming up already. There's one just float up. I'm gonna let it cook for maybe another 5 minutes before I take them off, but I can see more of them want to come up. Let me see, look up, see, nice, wow. They're gonna come up one by one, and then we're giving them about 5 minutes before I take them out. So our dumplings are done about 5 minutes in, and look how nice and beautiful they look. So nice and puffy. I'm gonna strain these babies now, and I'll show you the next step. So we're gonna check on our stew sauce, and it is cooking up nicely. I'm gonna put my stove on medium, and I will add my dumpling into this pot here. So let me put my dumpling in. Today it's a different way we're eating the fish stew. So I'm gonna go in, and these dumplings, that's what I'm cooking it with. This much liquid will suck up all that beautiful juice from the sauce, and this is gonna make our dumpling even more tastier. So after I put this in, all these dumplings, let me see if I can put it all at once. After I put all these dumplings, I'm gonna put the fish. Let me give this a turn. I'm gonna leave it in for a few minutes, and then we will come back and add the fish to this. But look how beautiful that looks. imagine the flavor when I'm done. So this is looking amazing. I can see that those dumplings have some of that juice into it. And now I'm gonna be adding the fish because the fish won't take long to cook. So I'm gonna go in, and what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put my stove on very low heat. And as soon as I put the fish in, I'm gonna turn the stove off because the fish is cooked and I just don't want them to break up. I'm gonna let all this juice marinate in this pot with the fish, and we will come back in a few minutes. I have to add my cilantro. Wow, this looks amazing. So all this goodness is gonna go into those fish and the dumpling. Let me add some of my cilantro now, and I will keep some to garnish after. But look at that pot of goodness right here. My pre-Good Friday stew fish and cassava dumpling. This is looking beautiful. So here it is, guys, my beautiful gray snapper stew and cassava dumpling. Look how beautiful this is with that cilantro just sprinkle on top and some nice gravy. I'm gonna dish out my plate and let you guys know how this tastes. So here is my plate, my beautiful stew snapper with cassava dumpling, and that looks so yummy. Over here, as I promised earlier, I have some fried fish, and I'm gonna have peas with some pepper sauce for you guys. And I have a glass of pineapple drink, and this is made from the skin. This dinner here was a compliment from Charlie's West Indian store. So I just want to dig in with the fish, and here I have it. I'm gonna break a piece. Just come closer. Look how nice the fish is. Nice and white. And for all my fish lovers out there, tell me if your mouth is not watering when you see this. So this mouthful is for you guys. And this is homemade lime juice pepper sauce. Oh my goodness. This is so good. So that one mouthful is not good enough for everyone. So I'm going to take another mouthful for you guys. So delicious. So nice. Fish is done perfectly. And I love seafood. Fish is my favorite. Gray snapper is a nice meaty fish. So my last bite here with that. And I'm going to move on with the stew fish tasting. This is amazing. I can just sit here and eat all this right now. But I have to do the stew fish test. So now for my cassava dumpling and stew fish, I'm just going to cut it and show you. On this dish, you don't need any rice or roti because the dumpling is working as that. And the inside looks just like cassava when you boil it. And I'm going to just cut it back in half. And I will make sure that I have enough gravy on here. And this is for you guys as well. Guys, the flavor for the cassava is so fresh and pungent in there. There's no lack of the cassava flavor, which is amazing to suck up all this amazing, delicious gravy. Here, I'm going to take a piece and look how nice the fish is inside. Nice and white. And I'm going to take my piece fish for you guys. This is such a hearty, delicious dish. The fish is perfectly cooked. Nice and soft and so flavorful. And it have that nice crust, fried crust on the top. Oh my God, so delicious. If you never had cassava dumpling before with stew fish, You gotta give it a try. So please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? I want to say to you guys, happy Good Friday, and stay blessed, stay safe. Bye for now.